Hey everyone, and we are back. Another episode, Good Time Gal. I'm your host, Caitlin Peluffo. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week on the podcast, we have Tom Thakkar. Holy smokes, Bloomington's golden boy, as they say. No one says that. I do. I just said it right now. Boom. Anyway, Tom Thakkar, he's great. He's wonderful. He's a sweet, sweet boy. And he's super funny. This episode is awesome. It's we get into some weird shit. We have some tangents, but it's very, very fun. And he's great. He's got two great podcasts. One is called Stand By Your Band. The other one is with Comedy Central. So make sure you guys check that out. He also has a great Comedy Central half hour. It's so funny. He's great. And you can follow him at Tom Thakkar. TomThakkar on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, that's the skinny. And follow the pod, I guess. At Good Time Gal Pod. I'm at Caitlin Peluffo. And if you could rate, review, and subscribe. I know everybody says that, but it helps us so much when you do it. Right now I'm shouting. I'm in a basement in Worcester, Massachusetts. Just shouting. So please, I don't know, tell a friend. Who cares? But I love you no matter what, just for who you are. I don't know why this turned into this, but I can't record it again because I have to leave. So this is what the intro is. This is a spiral. This is a disaster. But who gives a I mean, enjoy the episode. I love you. And that's all that matters. Good day. Yeah,
damn car come to the motorcycle.
Yeah.
How do you? Is this a Zoom?
This is a Zoom. Yeah.
Nice.
If you ask me how to use it, I won't be able to.
How
tell
can you tell what the level? I have one of these, and I'm so intimidated to use. I use my computer instead. I had one for travel, and I just never use it because the one time I used it, we blew out our levels. So I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, me either. I just make sure that the tops are somewhere in the back third. Or
fair
no,
enough.
before the end. But
yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then I can usually fix it
Love it.
GarageBand in the most rinky-dink way possible. Like, it's not good.
I have a site for you if you want that
Yeah.
I use because our levels get screwy sometimes, especially now with the Zoom shit.
Yeah?
Called Auphonic, where it levels everything out for you, so everybody sounds like similar and like all the channels are on pace and it never goes too high or too low.
And so you use that through your computer?
It's a website that I just upload the link, or I upload the file from my computer to this site, and it does it all, and then you just download it from the site. And it's weird because you get 2 hours free a month, and I have like 12 accounts, so I just don't. It's always free. I paid for it's $11 a month if you pay for it, and it's unlimited. But I paid for it for a while, and then sometimes it doesn't make it perfect. I mean, it can only do so much. But
yeah, of course,
it does fix how it sounds big time.
Oh, that's great.
It made our podcast sound way better.
I'm immediately thinking of 4 old podcasts that I've uploaded and thought was good enough that I really shouldn't use
we had that problem where too many people complained about old episodes because the sound started getting better and better. And so I just took down all the old ones and uploaded them to this site, re-downloaded them and put them up, and they sound great.
Oh, maybe I'll do that if I ever want to sell this to someone who knows what they're doing.
It's not bad.
And be like, hey, no, I knew what I was doing the whole time. You just shivered.
This is the most sour beer I've ever tasted in my life. I love it. It's refreshing.
I love that you came in with 6 different beers in a 6-pack.
I like variety. I'm very indecisive.
Okay.
I am the type. A lot of people have that thing where they're like, "Are we recording, by the way?"
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well,
here we go.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, welcome,
We're
Tom
gonna cut
Thakkar.
all that phonic talk, right?
No, that's staying in.
That's not interesting.
That's gold, baby.
I would have been in my persona if I known. I would have turned it on. What are you talking about? You got to warn a guy.
You're always on. You're great.
Cha.
You're doing. You got a mustache. They can't see it.
They can't see it, but they can feel it.
Yeah.
I'm evil Tom now.
Yeah.
I'm the Wario of Tom.
Yeah, it's a very the haircut is a little baby Hitler.
Sure, I've been getting that.
But
and here's the thing. Most men's haircuts when they're fresh are that. It's just we haven't seen a haircut in so long that we forget. Or we were doing it ourselves. And you don't give yourself the baby Hitler. No. It's just that every hairstylist now secretly does like Hitler.
Yeah.
So that's how they're spreading their message. Is you go, hey, can you cut my hair no matter what you give them? And you come out looking like Hitler.
Well, I was going to say, I don't hate it. You don't look bad.
And
like,
here's what a lot of people are afraid to say. He was a handsome guy.
Yeah.
No.
He was a looker. He made strong choices.
Unlike
in
me,
the hair
like I said, I'm indecisive. He was very decisive. So
How
my
unfortunate.
flaws were his strengths.
Yeah. Oh,
no,
well.
I love a place where you can mix and match a six-pack. I brought two because I went to a friend's backyard event last weekend. Safe, social distance,
of course,
outside.
Of
it's
course.
Fine. But I was there late. I showed up late, and I was like, hey, where can I pick up beer? And the host was like, just come. It's already so late. Just get in, and there's beers here. It's fine. And I felt so guilty that now I feel like I'm making up for it by over-providing. Like, I rolled up with 2 six-packs.
It's very sweet of you,
I'm that type of guy.
So if someone likes a beer, they can never see it again.
That's right. They'll get one and done. There are too many of the one thing I did get a lot of is this fucking sour beer that's too sour.
I'm sorry. And it's unfortunate because it's pink. It's pink and turquoise, so you would think it would be a delight.
I know. I do like it. I like sour, but it's very tart.
Very tart?
I like a sour. I like extreme flavors.
Really?
I'm an extreme type of guy.
How long? I feel like people who've been drinking a lot for a long time are just like, just let me feel something in the mouth department.
I feel that. I've gotten really into cocktails. This is a drinking podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get
it'll be relevant
to the huge mistakes you've made on.
Oh, there's some big ones.
As an extreme guy, I'm an
extreme man, and if I'm not feeling it fast enough, we're just doing whiskey. No, but I've gotten really into cocktails because I'm like, I was just drinking whiskey for a long time, and I was like, I need some beer. I need it to be fun. I need it to be flirty when I'm drinking. You know? I need to have it. I need to make it like festive, or else it's sad. You know.
Yeah.
If there's an orange slice in your drink, that's just you being fancy.
Yeah. But now you're a cocktail guy. So.
That's the thing. I throw an orange slice in a Negroni. It's the best thing.
That's
but here's where it goes too far.
Okay.
Yesterday,
we put the beer down.
Yesterday, I'm doing shows in the park. I am in the middle of a nice little time on my rooftop where I have a cocktail up there before I leave, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to keep this party going on the train. So I had this weird little bottle of soda that it was most of the way gone. I pour it out, and I make myself a little road Negroni, a Tigroni.
A
Tigroni. And it turns out when you fill up a bottle with that it's way too much. And so I put little orange peels in it. It was really cool. Like, I think I could sell these things. I mean, who would have thought of that? Selling alcohol? I could probably move these as like little bottle things that people would spend $20 on because it lasted me all day. But it fucked me up. I was on the train.
I could only imagine.
I was on the train just like,
A Negroni is all liquor. That's all it is. And you're just like, yeah, fill up my water bottle.
Yep. And so it was a lot.
That's a lot of gin.
Turned up. Yeah.
That's exciting.
So
I like
exciting.
that. I mean, I love Negronis. This is how much I've been drinking during the pandemic.
Yes.
I drank every day for like 3 months.
Same.
And then I just gave up drinking just for the month.
Yeah.
And I've lost 15 pounds.
It's crazy how fast it goes. I did that in January of last year. Also lost like 15 pounds. I was running on top of it.
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to shed weight. I even like when I was in LA, I like didn't drink for a while. I was like doing an only on weekends sort of deal because I was just like I was getting up so early for work and working all day. So I was like, I just don't. It's wearing me out. So I would just get home, eat dinner, smoke weed, and fall asleep as fast as possible. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as my work ended, I was like, nah, fuck all of it. Like as soon as COVID started, I was like, what are we doing? I'm saving so much money not going out. I'm just gonna like buy nice booze and have it at home. And honestly, you guys' place kind of inspired me because I saw you guys had Negroni stuff.
That's all me, baby.
So I said, me too. And that's what I said, hashtag me too.
Yeah.
That is what
After
that means.
hanging out at your apartment, I said, hashtag me too.
And it's they're so easy to make that and people get so intimidated by cocktails.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like my so I don't want to out them if they don't like this, but some of my family is, they drink a bit, and they every night it's the same drink. It's whiskey ginger, which is fine, but like it's so easy to just add a couple things, and all of a sudden you got yourself a mule or something. You can make it a little fun.
Yeah. See, I used to bartend, and so now I've grown accustomed. This sounds so snobby, but I like what I like. Okay, Tom?
I feel you.
I mean, and so I'm going to put together, and if I'm going to drink and have 200 calories for dessert,
yes,
I'm going to make it fancy.
That's exactly how I feel. And then the problem is, like, once I realized how easy it is to make, like, my two drinks are old fashions and Negronis. And old fashions, the problem is you're just adding sugar to whiskey. That's it. So I was getting really into them, and I was like, I got to stop just adding simple syrup to my fucking drinks. And it was funny, for a long time, I didn't know what simple syrup was. I thought that it was this magical thing.
Really?
I didn't know it's just sugar. It's legitimately just sugar syrup. That's it. And I'm an idiot.
I made some for our apartment, and Chloe was like, what? You could just make that? And I was like,
it's
yeah,
so
you just
funny.
Put it in your fridge. I add it to my iced coffee. It's great.
Oh, I never thought about that. Because you could just add it to that. It doesn't have to be for old fashioned.
Yeah, it can be for anything.
Never thought to do that
you
before.
want liquid sugar for.
That is so. So I make it myself for the most part too. Because when I was in LA, I went to Target to get cocktail stuff because my girlfriend's parents have a bar like that in our little area that we were living in. It was an art studio that has a little bar space. It's weird to sleep there because it's not a real room. Like you're not supposed to live in it. Yeah. But we did, and we made it work. And one of the nice things to it is there's this nice bar to it. So I was like, fuck that. I'm going to stock the bar.
Yeah.
And have my own little Tom's bar at night. And I went to go buy shit to make old fashioned. So I was like, they don't have simple syrup? Fuck, I can't make it. And then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, it's the easiest thing in the world to make.
Yeah, add hot water and sugar.
It's it. And it's also like, I was like, oh shit, we only have brown sugar. And it's like, yeah, you can use that. It doesn't matter. It's sugar. Who cares?
You're just making your drink sweeter.
Yeah, it's it. It's so simple.
Yeah, that's why they call it simple syrup.
That is
I think we cracked the code. But
we did it.
Yeah, we did it. Now, you're from Indiana.
That is correct.
To be fair, one of my favorite places on earth.
Is that right?
Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
I love it there.
And it loves you. It's true. I love it there. I miss it.
I love it. Yeah. Steve and I might be going in a couple weeks.
Really?
Maybe I should. Well, this isn't going to be on it for a while, but like.
Yeah. Are you guys doing the attic?
No, he's opening for Brian Regan, who is doing the attic.
Oh my God, Regan's doing the attic?
Yes.
What the fuck?
I know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, he just found out maybe an hour ago. That's why I shouldn't.
I can't believe Jared hasn't told me about this.
I can't believe I don't.
It
don't
won't
tell
matter.
anyone.
It'll be too late anyway.
It'll be too late. You're right.
That is crazy.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Yes, and
Regan's one of my favorite comedians
he's
of all
amazing.
time. I'm so happy about this.
Incredible. And so he's like,
has Steve been there before?
No.
That's great. He's gonna have such a good time. I love
like,
it. I wish that it wasn't during the fucking pandemic. Maybe it'll all be over by the time this happens.
No, I don't. I don't think so. But he was like, "Would you want to go?" And I was like, "That's probably the only city you could have told me that I would be like, yeah, I want to go."
And it's weird because I was there 2 months ago. I stopped in for a week. I was there with my mom. I didn't really spend a lot of time in Bloomington. We were in like the woods, but it was interesting to just be there and be like, it's almost like the world is normal there because they don't care as much, which is bad, but also there's way fewer cases there, so it's a different thing. Yeah. But it's still nice to be in Bloomington and just walk around the campus, and it's like it's nice out. You're going to have a great time.
I love Bloomington so much. So I will always love you just because I associate you with that magical
I love it. And
city.
I love people who love Bloomington, so that makes me happy.
I mean,
so many people.
wait.
like, because it's Indiana. I get it. But so many people go, oh, Indiana. Ugh. I remember when I moved to Chicago, people were so fucking condescending to me.
Really?
I remember this one dude who's like, oh, you're from Indiana? That's so gross. And I was like, all right, but you've never been to my hometown. And he goes, well, I've been to Evansville. I get it. And I was like,
no.
It's not the same. Also, fuck you. Like, it's,
yeah.
Indiana, like, it's also people do it to New York, too, where they're like, you live in New York? I could never.
Yeah.
When you're on the road, so it goes both ways.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Bloomington get so much
How
go.
big is your apartment?
Oh, yeah.
It's so
like,
small.
like, fuck off. I get it. You get to live in a house or whatever, but you know what you can't do? Go get a slice of pizza at fucking 2 a.m, you piece of shit. You can't just have a Reuben made for you at any hour.
No, you can't fill a 6-pack with 6 different beers from a bodega down your street.
You can't walk around drinking a beer on the streets, unless I guess if you live in New Orleans. But it's not. It's expensive there too.
Yeah, so fuck off, guy from Chicago. So growing up in Indiana, 'cause you're a drinker.
I have an occasional.
Hence I asked you.
I just said
on
I'm
this
half
podcast.
a beer deep. I say occasional. I have occasional drinks.
To be fair, it is a sour beer.
That's
so
true.
It
Doesn't
fucks
even
up your
count.
tongue.
It's basically water. Oh yeah, that's true. It's my tongue's all slippery.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
It's slippery.
Sure.
So when did you? Because Indiana is like a drinking city. I think that's why I love.
So Bloomington, Indiana, it was the #1 party school, Indiana University in Playboy magazine or whatever. It's known for being. It's a college school town, so it's like it's. But I was late to the drinking party because. My stepdad's a heavy drinker. He's an asshole. And I thought that everybody became an asshole when they drank.
Oh.
Little did I know, my stepdad's just an asshole. Like, some people are just assholes.
Yeah.
Some people have drinks, and they're fine. Some of them are fun when they have drinks. And I was not used to that. And then I learned that, and maybe this is controversial, but it's like, it's pretty rare that I'm in a bad mood when I drink. Or, like, it's very rare that I am meaner or anything like that. For the most part, most of the time when I drink, people don't know that I've had drinks, and that is how I like it. But I started drinking probably when I was like 20, I think. So
really?
I was late to the game compared to most people. I think.
That's surprising.
And I started very slow. I remember being like, I was in, I did improv in college, and I would go to improv parties, and I remember being like so freaked out by the idea of being drunk that I would show up to parties with 2 Miller Chills, which was like their Miller. It was Miller Lite with lime and salt, basically. And I stand by it.
I've never heard of this.
Great drink. It was 95 calories. I was basically anorexic at this time in my life, so that was what mattered to me the most. I would have 2 of them, and then I would stay up till like 5 in the morning because I was like, I want to make sure all of it's gone out of my body. And of course it was fine, but
yeah, of course
anyway.
It was gone like an hour after you drank it.
It was nothing, but I was so worried. Anyway, then I'm very competitive.
Okay.
I love games, and beer pong is what really got me into drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, I just want to play so bad, and then you end up drinking a crazy amount if you play for long enough, and especially if you're bad, and you start off bad. And so I got into it, and then I got engaged. When that ended, so I got engaged, moved to Ohio, and this is only important because after that I started drinking a lot. I remember being in Ohio just bored and depressed out of my mind. I had my hangout, my cheers was an Applebee's over by the hotel that I worked at. I used to work the front desk at a hotel night shift, and I would go sit at this fucking Applebee's bar.
Oh, no.
Where Sam Adams were $2 for big boys. And
well, that's a deal.
Oh, my God. It was such a good deal.
Okay, Applebee's.
Right? And so I was like, oh, this is my thing. I'm a sad, like, I was crying every day. It was a very bad time in my life.
Oh, no.
And so then luckily that relationship ended, but I went back to Bloomington, and when I got back, I was like, I'm going to be at the comedy club all the time. The bar downstairs, the Bishop.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to make myself a mainstay at this bar. It's going to become my home because I don't have a social network anymore other than comedy because I left and whatever. So I did that, and it became my home. And like I would go there, I would tip the fuck out of everybody, and all of a sudden I was like, they all took care of me. I became friends with the bar staff, and like they would come to comedy shows, and I would hang out there after and go to the music shit. And I would just have a great little time and just occasionally break out crying. And they would all be fine with it. And it was fun.
They're so supportive in Bloomington. I feel like if you broke out crying, they would just like buy you more drinks and hug you.
They definitely were very nice to me and put up with a lot from me. I was never like an angry. I would just like every once in a while I'd be like, this is where we would eat or whatever. And then
oh no.
But yeah, so one of the stories I was going to tell you is from that time in my life where I was just drinking until 2 and then walking home because I lived within walking distance of that bar. And one night I got all drunk and I was really sad this one night. This is the type of night I had. I was trying to get myself back into the dating world or whatever. I was like, and I was so bad at, I was never good at like approaching girls at bars. Dating apps were created for guys like me, where it's like, it's so much easier. I'm not tall. I can't go up. I don't have a lot of game, but I had a comedian friend of mine who, he's like half out of the game. He's getting back in now. And this is the worst advice anyone's ever given anybody, but this is the sort of people that I had around. And I remember hearing this advice, having a miniature breakdown, and then walking home. And this guy told me he was so good at picking up girls or whatever at bars. And I was like, what is your secret, man? How do you do this? I have no clue how to do any of this. And he goes, here's what you do. When you're into a girl at a bar, you go up to her group, and whoever's in her group is the ugliest girl in the group. This is what he said. He goes, you hit on her as hard as you can. And then I was like, oh, I get it. So then that makes the other girl jealous, and then she pays attention to you. And I had heard that in the game or whatever. And so he goes, well, actually, you end up usually just going home with the ugly one. And I was like, God, the world is so bleak. So it's that kind of night. We close down the bar. I'm sad. I just like can't. I miss my ex, and it's like I had just found out that she was in a new relationship.
Oh no, that's the worst.
I'm having one of those nights. I drunkenly walk home, and there's a place that used to be called College Books in Bloomington, Indiana. And it's on like 15th and College or whatever. And it's called College Books because students would go there, buy sex toys and porn and stuff. And when it showed up on their credit card, if they had their parents' credit card, it would say College Books.
Oh, that's so clever.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's great.
Brilliant move. Now I don't think it's called that anymore, but I am stumbling in. I had been in there a couple times in my youth as like a joke. It's a place you go to with your friends to giggle.
Yeah.
Not this night.
No.
This night I go, you know what? I deserve a little treat.
No, you did not say that.
I'm all sad. I'm like, I used to do a thing in Bloomington. I miss it there so much. I used to do a thing where I would get drunk, and like I said, I was very I had a lot of body disorder shit where so if I drank, I would jog 3 miles home when I lived on the west side of Bloomington. And I would always do that, and I would sing the whole way home. I had the streets to myself because it's Bloomington. Nobody's out that late. Nobody's walking home at 3 in the morning. So I would have the streets to myself, and I would serenade the streets with my songs of sadness. I'd be singing Bon Iver and shit, just really stinking up the streets. They're cursed with my voice. So I'm doing that. I'm singing my way home, all sad or whatever, and then I walk by College Books, and I go, tonight's the night. And I walk in, and I'm fiddling around. I'm all drunk, and they have these weird fake vaginas where it's like you can touch them to see if they. You can touch them to see if they're like a real vagina. I was like, close enough. And I bought the cheapest one they had, which is bad. You shouldn't do that. If you're gonna buy a fake vagina or a dildo, I don't know. I'm assuming you should probably go mid-range at least.
At least, yeah.
I bought the cheapest one they had. It was $7. Which is cheaper than a Chipotle burrito, and for a good reason. I got it back, and it was weird, and it turned out you were supposed to buy lube for it, and I didn't do that. I was very cheap, and so I just had this weird thing, and it looked like a rubber hose or something like that. It didn't look appealing at all, and I was so disgusted by it that I was just upset, and I didn't do anything. I just I had it out of the box already, and I was like, well, I can't keep this box in my house. So I threw away the box, and I was like, maybe someday I'll need it. I don't know. And I rolled it up into a towel, and I put it in my top dresser drawer, and I never thought about it again until I've told this story on stage before because I always say I bought a fake vagina. I was blackout drunk, which is a lie because I remember doing it, and that's not how blacking out works.
Yeah. Nope.
So I forgot about it until I was moving out of that apartment, and I was living with a comic, and his parents came to help us move.
Oh, God.
And you know how when you're carrying a dresser, you often are like, let's just leave the drawers in. That'll be fine. And then they always end up sliding out. On this day, that happened.
Oh,
and
no.
as we're going down the driveway, the drawer falls out, the towel falls out, and like a fucking movie, the towel unravels on the driveway, and a fake vagina just rolls down the driveway into the gutter. And I was like, who did that? Weird.
Did the parents see?
I think they, to their credit, were like, the boys will be boys. Let's just ignore it and move on. That'll make our lives better. But the roommate saw it for sure.
Oh, for sure. But I feel like parents wouldn't know that fake vaginas exist.
Oh, here's where you're wrong. Here's where you're wrong, Caitlin. Because you got to think, parents are like, they were around before porn.
Yeah.
So they had to do all kinds of kooky shit to, turn themselves on. I'm sure they're the ones who invented the fake vagina.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know. I can't imagine my dad. I mean, sorry, Dad.
I want you to picture it right now.
No. I guess maybe someone's uncle just being like, I'm going to fashion a fake vagina out of, what would you even make that out of? Like Vaseline and
I guess
rubber?
I think some form of rubber. I don't know, like couch cushions. I don't know.
I've
trying
heard
to think
a lot
of
of
other
boys
things.
fuck couches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard about the boys fucking couches.
Yeah, boys. Not grown men who are lonely.
$7 pocket pussy. That's pretty
right.
good.
It's not. I mean, it's not good, but it was a bargain if you're that type that needs that.
I've known a few comics who told me that they own a pocket pussy.
I feel like they're like very fancy now or something. This was 10 years ago, so maybe the quality has gotten better. I don't know, but
was it in the shape of lips? Like
that? I can't. No, it looked like a weird. I was just about to say I wish I had it, and I'm so glad I don't.
You just whip it out of your back pocket right now?
Oh, yeah, it's like this. It looked like a toy that you would win at Dave & Buster's. Like, it looked like it glowed in the dark and shit.
Oh.
And it didn't have lips on it. It was like a weird cylinder that I don't know how they got away with saying it was a vagina at all. Like, I think it was like a Chinese finger trap that they were like, people aren't into these anymore. Let's just rebrand this.
Yeah. So you never used it?
No, didn't use it. I wanted to. I just didn't have lube. And also, it just was like sad. It's like, there's a better way to do this. I also, now that I'm thinking of these stories, another bad one. My stories are less fun now that I'm saying them out loud.
I enjoyed that one thoroughly.
This one is just so stupid. Same time in my life, I was working at Go Bananas in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I had my car parked at my buddy's place, and I get hammered at the club. And when I get home, I look at my car, and I was like, oh, I parked crooked earlier. That sucks. I'll just fix it. And I'm hammered. But I was like, I'm just re-parking the car. That's not going to hurt anything. What am I going to do? So I get in the car, I back up, and I hear a loud crunch.
Oh, no.
It turns out I murdered my friend. No. No, what I had done
I can never go back to Go Bananas.
I had my backpack on, and when I was looking at my car drunk, I was like, well, I'll fix that. Sit my backpack behind the car. And then I just rolled over my laptop. I roll over my laptop and I'm like, oh no, this is what I get. I had a bad it was not pleasant. Luckily, it only cost $100 to fix.
You
fix
rolled
the
over.
Rolled over the laptop
What
with
kind
my
of
car.
laptop was
This was a Dell. This was back in the day.
You couldn't fuck up a Dell if you tried.
You couldn't. They were strong. They were strong back in their time.
Do they even exist anymore? I don't think so.
I actually don't know. I haven't seen a Dell in so long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What I did see was the old spokesperson for Dell. He was in an episode of What Would You Do? And
What Would You Do? I've heard of
What
this.
Would You Do? It's like they put like in this particular case, they put a fake scenario with actors and then see what real life people would do. It's like a hidden camera show.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this one, the Dell guy played, I put it in quotes, a recovering alcoholic. And his wife was pressuring him to drink in front of the whole bar. And then it was like, what were the people doing? When she was like, you're such a baby. God, you little pussy. You're not drinking. And he's like, I just want to live a clean and healthy life. and then we find out later that the Dell guy is truly sober because he hit rock bottom.
Yeah, no, he had like a crazy story.
Yeah, and now he looks much older and doesn't look like the Dell guy at all.
No.
But turns out everybody's pretty anti-wife. Pro sobriety.
Yes, sure. That makes sense. It's so funny looking back at those commercials because he got in trouble for being high. And I remember there was a whole controversy where it's like the Dell guy caught smoking weed or whatever. And it's like the whole reason we thought he was funny was that he was clearly a pothead. Dude, I'm getting a Dell. What do you? Yeah, of course he was a high.
Yeah.
We liked him for that. We just didn't want to see the dirt under his fingernails.
Yeah.
You know?
The dirt from
we
his
wanted
bong.
our cake and we wanted to eat it too. Well, sorry, America. You want to laugh? It costs you got to pay the toll.
The Dell toll.
That's right.
I had a Dell. It was a good computer. It was great.
Loved the Dell.
Oh,
Miss the Dell.
Did you go to college in Bloomington?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that's where I wouldn't drink I remember being like, there were times where I would drink a lot. Like we had parties at my house. I faked out the campus by saying that I lived at home. You were supposed to live in the dorms. I never lived in the dorms. I didn't get that. I had to work. My first 2 years in college, I was working full time.
Yeah.
At the hospital and doing improv for the last half of it, and then so I didn't get to party for a long time. So then being in my when I turned 21, it was in 20. There was this whole thing of like, oh, I'm catching up with everybody.
Yeah.
So I moved on campus and we had house parties that were like themed. It was like this sort of thing where the cops would come and shut us down all the time.
Yeah.
It was very fun, and we had themed parties that were like. One of them was 9/11 related, which was fucked up. They were all very edgy, and it was never my idea to do that. But it was great. We would do a thing where we charged like $5 a cup. It was like our own little house of comedians that would come through, plus their friends, and it was so fun. But there was one where we would make this jungle juice with Kamchatka, the shittiest vodka they have.
Okay.
It's like $13 a handle.
I was like, I've never heard of that.
It's very gross. But we would make jungle juice with it, and we would charge everybody $5 a cup. And there was one party we had. It was for Halloween, and it got shut down within 30 minutes. But it was packed. We had already made like $400.
Oh.
So everybody had to leave, and we still had all the jungle juice, so we just put it in a fridge. We were just drinking jungle juice for the next week. We were disgusting.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh my God. Did you go to college out there?
Yeah, I went to college in San Diego.
Okay.
And so I've been to Tijuana. We would go to Tijuana.
Yeah.
And then come back up.
Sure.
And then beer pong and.
Were you a wild college partier?
Oh yeah. See, I didn't drink at all in high school.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think that's what makes it like you go really intense later, where everybody else gets worn out by it. They're like, yeah, we did this. Like we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I'm just now being like, hey, maybe I shouldn't drink until I can't see. Maybe I should slow it down.
I'm still learning that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun lesson to learn over and over and over again.
Yes.
But we would play beer pong. I loved beer pong.
Yeah.
For the same reason.
I just played beer pong last weekend. It was just with
really?
water. It was just with water. It wasn't like,
Oh.
I mean, we drank, but it was on the side. But it's like, are you kidding me? During COVID, you can't be
True.
playing beer pong.
No. That's very smart.
It was with people who had all gotten tested and stuff. Like, it was fine, but it was still like, you can't drink out of the cups.
Yeah, no. And then
insane.
put them back. And
yeah, that would be
no
crazy.
Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's
like
so fun to
sharing the
play
ball.
it. Last summer, definitely pre-COVID, I was playing. I went to a couple parties where people had it, and I was like, it's so fun. And it's such a fun communal thing where it's like, you meet people. Like, that's how I used to meet people. That's how you'd be like, oh, maybe I can get this person's number or something, playing beer pong with them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a dining room table. We had a beer pong table right in the middle. And me and my roommate didn't like beer.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to get fat. So we wouldn't drink beer. We would drink Arbor Mist.
I remember Arbor Mist. Arbor Mist was like the official drink of like girls who would be at the party and wanted to drink hard. You were like, these people who came to party.
Yeah, budding.
I dated some Arbor Misters.
Stay-at-home mom alcoholics.
Yes.
That was me and Chirsty. Peach Arbor Mist. Chirsty. Yes.
What a name.
I mean,
you gotta have a Chirsty in your life. Did you guys call her Thirsty Chirsty?
Oh,
ever?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Thirsty Chirsty.
Chirstrap. I need a Chirsty in my life. I love that. That's
Chirsty,
the sort of name you cling on to.
Oh, yeah. She could raise hell, and now she's a wonderful mother of two in the middle of Washington State.
Wow.
Yeah, she has a huge house. Good for her, you know?
A huge house?
Yeah, she's doing great.
I thought you said she has a huge ass. I was like, Jesus.
She's got the biggest ass of any mother in Washington
She's doing
State.
great. Huge ass.
Yep.
Like, oh, my God.
Good for her. Oh, God. But, yeah, her and I, we would just, it was unhealthy.
Were you the type to go to like fraternity parties, or like were you in the Greek life?
No. Well, my first year I was, just
Yeah.
because I was on the soccer team, and
Right.
there was one fraternity that all the soccer boys.
Sure.
And so we would go to those parties a lot, but
Yeah.
it wasn't really my scene.
Same.
Yeah.
I had some friends who got into that world, and
Yeah.
it just was never for me. But then there was also, when I was doing improv, there became this weird improv frat.
Really?
And I was like, this is the lamest shit I've ever seen. It was so pathetic. And so we made fun of the guy. Like, there were two guys who did it, and we endlessly made fun of them for it. And it was very fun. But they really hated it. And, they took it. One of them took it so seriously. And it's like, to me, I was like, the whole point of a fraternity is so that you have this built-in group of friends or whatever. Comedy is that.
Yeah.
We're all in a fraternity forever now. Like, it's we're stuck in this thing that you have a built-in network of friends just from doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I didn't see the point to it. But that's like how I would party, is doing these, like, once after our improv shows, everybody from the show would come to our, and I truly believe, like, the only reason we had audiences is that everybody was like, we got to go to their fucking show if we want to go to their party afterwards.
Well, hell, do what you got to do.
I know. I should start doing that for stand-up.
Yeah.
After my shows, I'm like, look, I have the sickest parties around.
Yeah,
and
they're
if
on
you
my
want to
roof.
come, you got to go to the show. You
Yeah.
got to come see me.
COVID-friendly beer pong. Get on over here. I want to know what kind of parties, what were the themes of these parties? One was the 9/11
There was a
theme.
John Benet Ramsey birthday party. That was our most controversial one, that I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing now? Why is this funny? What else do we have? Those are the two that I remember the most, because they were the most, like, upsetting. But it was one guy in our house that was like, we got to name it this. And I was like, Jesus. All right. But yeah, I don't think we ever made people, like, dress up or anything. It was just like, although for the 9/11 one, we did have Twin Towers beer pong. Again, not my choice. I just remember that being a facet of it. College kids are the fucking worst.
Oh, yeah.
They think everything's funny. They're edgelords. It sucks.
I feel like everything you do up until like 2 years out of college should just be erased.
Yes.
Even if it's good, because that's not who you are.
No, it sucks.
That is, what is everybody else doing? And sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the improv of life is the first, like, yes and, bro. You know? You just got to figure it out.
For sure.
Yeah.
But mostly our parties were just a place for improvisers to yell at each other.
Yeah.
And, it was like improv, sketch, and stand-up would all meet in the middle in it. It was kind of interesting for that. But
yeah.
It's funny to think of, like, did you do any comedy in college? You started comedy late, right? Or like later.
Yeah. 26.
Yeah.
I was in New York.
Yes. Yeah. So you being part of that world was so weird because you're like, nobody's funny.
Yeah.
Nobody's there were like 3 people who were genuinely hilarious who I wish were still doing it. But most people are terrible.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So it's, especially doing improv, you're like, what are we doing? And some of the funniest people I've ever met in my life were in that group. But most of them are like doing other shit now because they're like, what am I going to do this shit my whole life? And I'm crazy for
You're like, yes,
yeah.
we are. When did you move to New York?
I moved to New York 5 years ago. I was in Chicago for a couple of years. And speaking of Chicago is a different level of like people drinking their dicks off while doing yes. And there was a funny moment where somebody told me that in New York comics don't drink like they do in Chicago, and I was like, oh, weird. And then I got to New York and I was like, oh, everybody's getting hammered here. And then I realized I was like, oh, it's all Chicago people.
Yeah.
It was totally not what I thought of. It was exactly what they said. It's just, for some reason, I don't know if it's the weather or the fact that it's like this mid-level city where it's like everybody's trying to prove themselves and there's not like a spotlight on them.
Yeah.
So people just get shit-housed out there. And it's just the culture. Chicago is just a drinking city, yeah.
So you loved Chicago,
I loved Chicago.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
How long were you there?
Only 2 years, but I was there. I would like go. Indiana's so close, and my sister lived there, so I would go there a lot. And just a great beer city, great whiskey city. It was. I think that also that cold. I kind of like a city where it just sits you the fuck down. Like a city where they go, it's so cold out that if you go outside for more than 10 minutes, your hands will freeze off. So you're stuck inside. And it makes for an interesting community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It also slows down your like, I got to work all the time shit, which is here.
Yeah. You don't stop.
Even during the fucking pandemic, it's like, well, I have 3 Zoom shows tonight. I got to get, it's. It never ends, whereas in Chicago, it's like, yeah, we're going to just have a day where we get fucked up at my house and eat, terrible pizza or whatever,
I talked to Jeff Sheen a little bit about Chicago.
Sure.
And it was very much the same. Did you meet him in Chicago?
I did meet him in Chicago, and I fell in love with Jeff in Chicago because
beautiful.
We were 2 of the meanest people to each other of all time, and we both think it's so funny. And I love it. And we made a lot of enemies on the way out of Chicago. But I remember when I first met Jeff, we had a similar group of friends, and there was a night where we were at this show, and it was one of those weird moments where, the moment when you're used to be in a group with somebody and then that first time you're just alone with them and you're like, oh shit, now we have to communicate. And it's just the 2 of us. And we got dwindled down to the 2 of us. Everybody else went out to smoke or something. And he had just gone to Michigan to see his family, and I was like, so how is your family? And he goes, you're never getting in here, Tom. And I was like, I just saw who he was. I was like, you catty little bitch. I know who you are. And you're never getting in here, Tom.
That's beautiful. Yes. You guys found each other.
I know. And then we have some friends who do not appreciate how mean we are, but he's also someone to poke you in the stomach and go, hey, you've been eating a lot lately, haven't you?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. He offended like half of our guests. The first time we had people over, oh, my God, we were in the backyard. I think Sam Evans and Tim McLaughlin are going to murder Jeff when he sleeps.
Tim loves it. Sam and Jeff have one of my favorite dynamics ever because Sam's impression of Jeff is, have you heard it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. It's so
good.
funny. It's the, I'm weird. And my family's sexual.
It's perfect.
So but yeah, I like to give Jeff a little poke in the tum. I can tell we're both sensitive about our weight, and so I like to give him a little poke in the tum every once in a while. I go, hey, how's that going?
Yeah, I'd break both of your fingers. You even try.
Only Jeff. He's the only person I would do that to.
Okay, thank God. Yeah, because
he's so mean. Here's what I like. It's kind of fun when somebody's that mean because you're like, oh, now I have a license to be this mean back to you.
Yeah.
And it's fun to be that mean sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. I do it.
Especially when it's like it's deserved.
Oh, yeah. When it's not, you're in trouble.
No, who would do that?
I sometimes.
A psycho.
I like to nag. You know, that's my way of flirting.
Sure. Yes.
And so that's what I did with my boyfriend.
Yes.
Who I'm very surprised is still around.
What kind of stuff did you, what was the courtship of Caitlin and Steve like?
We were friends for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both got single at the same time.
Yep.
We got hammered and slept together.
And was it like,
that was
how do you go from, you just got hammered and you're like, we're doing it?
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. We were always, like, because we had long breakups.
Mm-hmm.
And so we helped each other through the long breakups.
Sure.
And then we were flirty, you know, and then you add alcohol to it. And I was wearing very nice shorts, you know, and it just tumbleweed. What are you going to do?
There's nothing you can do about that.
No, you're just going to fall on a dick. You're the closest one. Turns out you're a great guy.
How lucky.
I know.
You're the closest one.
It's our love story. I'll say it at our wedding.
The closest one.
I will say that shit in front of my grandma.
I love that. You were the closest one.
No, you live with your girlfriend.
I do, yes.
Yeah, you guys are in love?
So in love, yes.
Is she a drinker?
Not really. She will have drinks, but she's always the one to go, I'm not drinking this week. Like, and then she'll see, like, we'll have a night out with somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, have my headphones been going this whole time? Frank Ocean's been blasting this whole time. I hope I didn't pick that up. That's illegal.
It's okay. You know what, Frank, friend of the pod. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll have him on in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you should have gotten him earlier.
Yeah. The pandemic slowed things down.
I get it. Yeah, she's more of like the maybe I'll have a glass of wine or like a rosé or something, and then she likes that I make cocktails. Like she's into Negronis. She got really into Aperol this summer.
Oh yeah,
but she's not a hardcore drinker. Like
no.
I think that she literally said yesterday that I was a bad influence on her.
Oh no.
This is why I usually. And I don't drink nearly as much as I used to, honestly. Like this weekend I did, but
What'd you do this weekend?
This weekend I think because I didn't drink during the week as much, I was like, well, I got catching up to do.
Yeah.
And so we biked to the city and had drinks in the city, and then this is the problem. We have this, like you guys have a backyard. We have the rooftop. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to not just be like, I'm going to have a cocktail on the roof.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course.
And so, like I said yesterday, made the Tigroni. That's my whole day is like, I just lost it to the Negroni that I had. I also was hungover yesterday. So started off the day hungover.
Yeah. You may as well have a Tigroni.
Our friend Tim has a backyard now. Mm-hmm. I had a couple too many at that. And then I also had 3 glasses of whiskey before I even got there because of this bike ride to the city. Doesn't matter. And it's kind of like what you were saying. I have now drank long enough that I know what I like. And if I'm going to have drinks, I'm for the most part going to drink things that I like. Mm-hmm. And so in the city, I was like, well, I'm going to have a cocktail. When's the last time we had a cocktail at a restaurant? Like, and it's outdoors, whatever. But I was like, we're here. I'm going to have a nice fancy drink. Yeah. Then I was like, I'm having nice bourbon. Then it devolves into, all right, I'll drink White Claws until tomorrow.
Well, those are great because they're like 100 calories.
I know, but you have 10 of them, and then no, I don't think I've ever done that. But
10 White Claws seems extreme.
It seems like a lot. I was at a wedding where it was like basically White Claw themed, and we were there for 3 days, and then it turns into like there was probably a day where I had 10 to 12 White Claws because you're just like drinking all day at this thing. That's different. It's a wedding. Who cares?
You're supposed to get,
and they're good for you.
Blackout. I mean,
how many calories are in water?
Yeah, I like that logic.
I mean, it's 0, but I mean, not New York water.
Yeah, New York water you can chew.
There's 30 calories per glass. But yeah, so I started off hungover. So yeah, this weekend I did that thing where I was like, I'm going to drink through the hangover, and then 10 p.m. hit, and I was like, I feel like the biggest pile of shit. Yeah, but
what are you going to do? I mean, you gotta.
So Steve doesn't drink, right? Or no, he does. Is it rare?
God bless his heart. He drinks like, I think I'm a bad influence on him. Because before, he had like, he would drink whenever he was on the road with Regan.
I was gonna say Regan
or
drinks so hard sometimes. One of my favorite times ever was drinking with Regan because I love him, and then he's so funny. To drink with too.
And he's so nice.
He's so nice, but it's funny. I kind of had a similar thing with him that I had with Jeff, where he said something so funny to me because when him being mean is the funniest thing in the world. So he watched me do a half hour featuring at Madison, one of the hottest sets of my life. And I was like so psyched that Regan saw it.
Yeah.
And I get off stage and the show ends, and I was being too nice to him at first, and then I quickly learned that made him uncomfortable, where I was like, it's weird, and I get it. It's weird to be like, I love you and you're great. So I really try to hold that shit in check. I think you should tell people that you are a fan of theirs, or I think you should say nice things to people.
Yes, of course.
But it reaches a point, and it's very awkward for people who are
and
that
he
big.
Is very sensitive to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So I was doing that for a minute, and then I quickly realized he didn't like it. So then I went the other way, and I started calling him a hack and stuff. And it was so fun. It was great. And he goes, before I did that, though, he started it because he goes, can I give you a note about your comedy? And I was like, yeah, what do you got? And he goes, sometimes the audience likes to laugh. And it was fun. And then we just busted balls for a while, and it was great. That's the best. And he one of my favorite stories, this is not related to that at all, except for it is a Regan story that I think is funny, and I don't want it to get lost.
Okay.
Do you know who Ron Bennington is, right?
Yes.
So he told a story. Regan told us this story on the radio, and I think it's one of the funniest stories ever to me, which is that, and it's a perfect example of like how fucking with somebody will stick with them longer especially if it's funny. But he was talking about the back in the day when, as a comic, you had to just send your VHS to clubs, and then they might call you and be like, all right, well, if you can come do it, come do it. And he was, I think, going somewhere maybe in Florida or something, and he calls the club and goes, can I do a guest spot at the club this week? And they were like, yeah, come do a guest spot, and we'll see what happens or whatever. So he was already like doing well at that point. He was doing fine. He wasn't famous, whatever, but he was successful to some extent. I think is part of the story, or he was making a name for himself on the road.
Yeah. So
Ron Bennington is hosting, and Bennington does this thing and he had met Brian before, and he goes, all right, this next comedian, we're so lucky to have him. He's coming through town. He's literally the funniest person who's ever existed, and you're going to be laughing so hard, and he's going to kill you. You're going to be laughing so hard. You're going to be in pain.
Oh,
that's how hard you're going to be laughing.
No.
And he goes, I'm not kidding. Within 15 seconds of him being on stage, you're going to be on the floor. He says within 15 seconds. He goes, that's how funny this guy is. So then, of course, Regan goes up and he's like, hey. And everybody's like, what the fuck? I thought this guy was going to be killing me within 15 seconds. So it's like a bad time. But it's like, that's the funniest thing. That's the funniest thing that could have happened. Like that intro is insane. But it was on purpose. He was doing it to fuck with him, and that's a hilarious thing to do to somebody.
Oh
so
my God.
I think like at a certain, I think there obviously you have to like. I was very lucky to have the moment I had with him, and I'm sure Steve has a bunch of shit. I'm sure that are like hilarious moments with him. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you can just out of the blue go fuck with some comic. But if they've seen you do your act, and it's like you're hanging out and you're having fun, it's the most fun thing ever is to be mean and be silly and so funny.
He's so lovely.
I love him so much. I'm such a huge fan. And he's so smart. Like, he's one of those guys where I remember being a huge fan of his and being like, yeah, but I wonder what his, like, politics are or any shit like that. And hearing him talk on podcasts, I was like, that guy is amazing. He's so smart and so funny. Huge fan. Yeah. This has become the Suck Brian Regan's
the
Dick
Brian
Hour.
Regan podcast appreciation hour.
Yes.
But he is a lovely person and a drinker, which is great.
Love
it. Maybe that's how we tie it in. He's a drinker.
We go. He's a drinker. Who cares?
No one gives a shit.
Nobody needs a tie.
No. But actually, this is the end of the pod, Tom.
Oh, shit.
I know.
I've had so much fun.
Really?
I hope that I wasn't too much. All my sad boy stories are from 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, you're
so
a happy
none
boy
of it,
now.
I'm a happy boy.
You're happy.
I feel great.
I see it.
Yeah, I'm
you
in a
got
good
sweet
place.
Glasses, great haircut.
Got a haircut, got glasses.
And you got a girlfriend with a rooftop.
The rooftop. We're killing it out here.
And you're going to have a Tigroni tonight.
Oh, fuck all that. I'm drinking 12 White Claws in your backyard.
A sour beer you don't like.
Yes.
Well, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff at Tom Thakkar. It's THAKKAR. And I have a podcast called Stand By Your Band where we have comedians defend music they make fun of. You were a guest. You did NSYNC, right?
I did NSYNC.
Hell yeah.
I love NSYNC.
And also I have a podcast on Comedy Central called Stand Up with Tom Thakkar. And I have a half hour. Check that out.
He's a busy boy.
I'm a busy boy. I'm doing a corporate this weekend.
Oh, Godspeed. On Zoom or in real life?
Zoom.
Oh.
We'll talk about it off
I mean, you're going to be great.
We'll see.
Well, thank you so much,
Thanks
Tom.
so much.
Have a beautiful night.